Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. It is the 9th of June, 2021, and it, at least here in Michigan, is a freakishly humid one. Taking a look at what we've got going on here with Cardano's price action, we continue to see the lagging span underneath the candles, and we're currently trading at 161.39. So we had a crazy awesome drive up last night as we got the last part of the day, really. And then we continue to see that move higher. We're not back above the Kijun-sen, and we're not back above the Tenkan-sen, and we're not back above the Kijun-sen. So we're still kind of in this bearish territory and flirting with the cloud here. There is some things that I think are worth taking a look at as far as potential danger zones. And actually, one of them is bullish. So down below, I have the composite index, which is a trademarked indicator by Connie Brown. In addition to, I have applied something that she wrote about in her book, Technical Analysis for the Trading Professional. And that is the application of Stoller bands. Manning Stoller created them. They're a form of volatility bands. There's actually you would see like two bands on here, but she recommended consolidating it to one with a deviation of 2.1 or 2.3. I believe that the upper band has a deviation of 2.1, the lower band has a deviation of 2.3. I think that's what it was. I have to double check. And then we have the composite index, which is the blue line, and then the moving averages of the composite index. So I need to make that a little thicker. And then the fast average, I usually have these colored differently. The fast average is the green one, and the slow average is the red one. Okay, but one of the things that Connie made a point about was, watch for conditions where the composite index is at an extreme, or the RSI is at an extreme, and it's also pushing one of the volatility bands. It's near it, because the thing to look for is a retest of that same value when it moves down. So we had this, for instance, trying to find an example, or when we have the inverse of it is also true. So let me find an example of a scenario like that. It's hard to find one. I mean, cryptocurrencies are fine, but let's see. Well, I mean, right here actually is currently. No, it's not. It's not. It's not a good example. I probably have to find a bearish one if I want to. Okay. Well, yeah, probably right here is the one. So look at the high here in the composite index relative to the volatility bands, which are above, and then we saw price move lower, and then we saw the composite index move higher while price moved higher. However, what happened? The distance between this peak in the composite index and the volatility bands is greater than this peak here. Also, the peak in the composite index is lower than the peak here where we were originally looking. So there's two things that go on here. The first is that there's a condition known as regular bearish divergence. The second is that it fulfills, in Connie's work, it's not a signal, it's a warning sign that something's about to change. And this is one of the more, and by the way, this isn't the best example, because really you should see things pressing like right on top of the bands almost. So this isn't the best example of that, but for the lack of a better time to do it, it's right here. So this is what we look at. We would consider shorting. And for me, at least, the signal, one of the signals I look for is the composite index crossing below one of its averages. But the point I'm trying to make is that, we've had this move here. We are pressing near these extremes in the volatility bands, and we're technically in our first oversold condition on the daily chart for Cardano. So it'll be interesting to see, what plays out here. The thing that could really push this guy south, all right, is if the composite index, let me just get the trend line tool here, and we do arrows at the end. There we go. Save as default. So if the composite index, which is this blue line here, if we see price move up higher, like it moves towards the Kijun Sen or the top of the upper band, we're going to see a pretty sharp move higher, all right, which will touch the volatility bands. If that occurs, and instead, that'll be the first retest after it reached this peak. If that occurs and then the next day it starts to slope down, that is an opportunity to short, because it will probably see price somewhere around here. This is what I see playing out. Is we'll continue moving higher for I don't know how many days, but we're going to test either the Kijun Sen at 175.50, sorry 174.40, or we're going to test the top of the cloud at 185, or even where's the high of the strong bar back here at $2. So somewhere between 175 and $2. That's what we want to look for, because the composite index will more than likely be pressing up against the upper volatility band of the Stoller band. So what does that mean? That means unless there is a new high found in the composite index, unless there's a new high above this high, then what we will see is a condition to short. And yes, the bounce here has been impressive, but the underlying structure that exists on Cardano's chart remains inherently bearish. I mean, this is a bearish continuation pattern. Nothing has changed here. I mean, we have these trend lines. Never mind the arrows on there, but I mean, we have a wedge pattern forming here. That's all this is. This is just it's a very weak rising wedge. So. And we seem to be following just the slope of the before Cardano was following the slope of the candlesticks. The lagging span was dictating the price action direction. Now it looks like we could be seeing the cloud actually giving us our direction. So we could technically see this occur over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 days before we see it then finally experience a big drop. And so that's what I see there. In the meantime, I think short term we may see these higher prices. We may over the next 4 days visit the $1.85 zone, but do watch out here very closely, because it's not going to take much to push Cardano down. And so any close, really, I think below 145 maybe. Let me look here. We got oops. Daily chart. Let's look at the volume profile over here. Yeah. Roughly around there. Any close below 145 might be a danger zone for Cardano. So watch for any close below 145, and then watch what happens if it starts to press up against the 185, because that'll be the thing to look out for as far as another move south. That does it for me, folks. From all of us here at Exchange Rates UK TV, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.